as somebody who's been married for the last, 8.5 years, anytime I see like relationship advice on really any social media app, I just kind of laugh because most of the people who give y'all advice had the most messed up relationships. Like, I don't know if y'all ever followed this lady, the Sadia or whatever her name was, Saria Khan or something. I don't know her name exactly, but she was like a relationship guru or whatever, and she got caught being like somebody's side chick or something. And the only reason I bring her up is because that story is not unique to her. Like, the amount of people in the relationship space who just give absolutely garbage advice. It's incredible. And they make bank off telling y'all what y'all want to hear. Most of the relationship advice you get from people online are from people who are not in committed relationships. Like, that's the craziest part. Y'all will listen to people who have no proof of concept themselves. Like, it's almost like somebody completely broke telling you how you can make money. They're like, hey, listen, I got the formula. Like, no, you don't. You broke. If the formula works so well, why is your shit so messed up? Right? That's the first question I would ask. But when it comes to relationships, nobody asks that, because relationships are emotional, and when people are emotional about a topic, they tend to lean into the words and advice from someone who says things they want to hear, not from things that are true, right? It's not necessarily about the result when it comes to relationships or relationship advice. It's about making the person feel heard. And ironically, if most people understood that and recognized that in themselves and applied it to the relationship, then they wouldn't need relationship advice. Like, that's the craziest part. Like, if you could understand how desperately people want to be heard in relationships, if you understand that, right? If you just applied it to your own relationship, you'd be fine. But most people don't. So instead, what you get is a bunch of single or cheating relationship gurus who will tell you, hey, this is how this is how you need to be moving out here if you're gonna have your man, you don't need to be doing this, or your girl, you need to make sure your girl is on a tight leash. I just be like, what the hell are y'all talking about? Like, the truth is, the reason that a lot of people don't listen to actual relationship advice from people who are in successful relationships or people who are married is because y'all don't want to hear that it's hard. That's the real reason. That's the real thing. Because, like, we have been raising and cultivating this this idea in you guys' minds for your whole lives that everything should be about you. So when somebody who's married tells you, oh yeah, your relationship, it's not actually about you. Like, you're not the most important person. You take that to mean, oh, your happiness doesn't matter. Oh, you're supposed to be a slave. No. You are there to serve the other person, and the other person's there to serve you. And if you're both doing that effectively, then both of your needs will be met. There will be times where one person is able to give more than the other. Sometimes there will be like, you ever heard the thing, it's going to be a season, right? Whole seasons, right? Sometimes a season can last years. Sometimes it's going to be years of you giving more. You ready for that? No? All right. Well, maybe you're not really ready for a relationship. Because that's what it meant. That's what it used to mean anyway. When people would say, I do. It's that we're committing to whatever the hell this is going to look like forever now. Because we're going to work this shit out. And I meant that. When I told my wife that, I meant that. Whatever this is going to look like for the rest of our days, this is it. I ain't doing this again. I'm not doing it. So that's the truth. The truth is, a lot of you all don't know how to not be selfish. That's really what it is. So you think serving someone else represents some form of like slavery. This weird thing where you're like, oh, well, if I'm not happy, then the relationship's not worth it. I'm gonna say something that y'all are not gonna like. What the hell does your happiness? Let me just be real honest. Your happiness day to day, what the hell does that got to do with anything? Like, you get upset about the small, like, if you be honest with yourself, the smallest thing can upset most of you. You think it's someone else's job to keep you happy? you're bugging, you're tripping. It's not reasonable to expect someone else to be responsible for your happiness. Now, should they not, do things that intentionally aggravate that? Of course. If you've got somebody who is like trying to poke at you all the time, then no, that's not healthy for you either. But most of y'all just don't understand that when you commit to someone, part of your job is figuring out how to get along. And when I say how to get along, figuring out why they are the way they are and trying to explain to them why you are the way you are. And then adapting. The amount of people I hear say things like, I feel like in my relationship, I lost myself. Like, if you think you're going to be the same person in a marriage that you are when you're single, it's not surprising that your relationship isn't working. It's not. Because the expectation that you just going to have somebody at your hip and they're going to be, your partner, but also not impact all the decisions that you make. How the hell you think that works? Skip to the ending. It doesn't work. That's not how it works. And there's no version of you that's going to be stagnant from age 20 to age 50, right? It's just not going to happen. The idea is to get someone that you can grow with, because you're both going to change. That's the reality. You're both going to change. The goal is to be able to change in the same direction, be going in the same direction as you change, be able to talk through why and how you're changing, figure out what the new normal is. And that takes a hell of a lot of work. It's an everyday thing sometimes. Sometimes the smallest things can bring out larger issues that you might not have realized. And every day you got to work at that, every single day. That's the truth about relationships and marriage. Marriage is hard as hell. Next to being a parent, probably one of the hardest things you'll do. But it's worth it. It can absolutely be worth it. But there's no version of it where you're going to get your relationship advice from somebody who's batting 0 for 10 and be like, man, I wonder why this didn't work this time. Maybe because you took relationship advice from somebody whose main relationships is situationships. Maybe that's why. I'm just saying, there's a lot of advice out there. Listen, I'm just another guy on the internet. I am married though. And again, for every piece of advice that you hear, just consider the source. Because in relationships, the relationships, money, the source is important. It's not that you can't get good advice from people who are single. It's that sometimes the advice that single people give is completely void of the realities that come with having another person in your life consistently, because that's not something they've ever experienced. So just be careful. Be careful who you take advice from, even me. Okay? Because my relationship's not going to look like yours. Maybe you gonna find you somebody who sits on your hip and doesn't say boo about anything you do. Maybe. I don't know if that person actually loves you or not, but hey, to each their own. Just be cautious taking advice from single people. All right. My advice. I'll talk to you later.